Hi, this is Alvin. Welcome back to my channel. Well, the crime problems continue to happen in New York City, especially Manhattan, and we just had another doozy here. Uh, a person was found dead inside a sleeping bag in Manhattan with bullet wounds. So, they found the individual. This was reported by Eyewitness News in New York. Let's get into this. Person of interest in custody at the body of murdered woman found in sleeping bag in Manhattan. This is Kips Bay, Midtown Manhattan. A person of interest is in custody after the body of a murdered woman was found inside a sleeping bag in Manhattan last week. A sleeping crowd yelled murderer Monday night as police brought the person of interest from his home on EMS gurney. Video shows police trying to keep the crowd back, but the brutal killing of the 31-year-old woman was found dead on Friday just before 5 p.m. in front of 207 East 27th Street has enraged them. They surged forward and hit the man in police custody. The medics got the man in the ambulance, but again the crowd surged and hit him repeatedly. Eventually he was loaded in. That's nice. Police said Monday that Yasmin Williams was shot in the head before she was wrapped in a plastic bag and put in a sleeping bag. And I apologize to the victim, I cannot pronounce her name. Surveillance video recovered by detectives shows a man in an electric wheelchair dragged her body to where it was eventually found. Eyewitness said that the body was left with the trash on the street. Her death has been ruled a homicide, and now her loved ones seek justice. Williams' family described her as someone who wanted to be an advocate for women and part of the justice system to fight for victims. She was beautiful, she was sweet, she was college educated, she was just a good person, said the victim's aunt, Nasheen Ramirez. Her family and friends knew her as Yazzie. Her mom, Nicole Williams, said she started a new job last week for the city where she'd be helping the homeless, and they plan to celebrate her mom's birthday in a couple of weeks. So sad. I was so excited for her and so excited to spend my birthday with her, but now I'm not. My baby's gone, Williams says. Now the victim's loved ones has set up a memorial in front of the building where she was found, and they are demanding justice. She wanted to get back to school, get her master's degree. She wanted to go to law school. That's where her ultimate goal, to go to law school, Williams said. Her loved ones didn't know who would have wanted to harm her, but they said whoever it was is dangerous. It is not safe because there's still somebody out there, Ramirez says. Sources believe the man in the wheelchair is someone that the victim knew, but the motive is unclear. Police took a person interest in custody Monday, but they had not been charged so far. The investigation is ongoing. See, again, the situation in Manhattan is out of control, and like the rest of the city, because of Alvin Bragg's and his soft on crime policies. The man just doesn't care about the people in the streets. All he cares about is going after Trump. And we see now, even he couldn't get that done right. He got his conviction against Trump, but now, what happens? They had to delay it because the Supreme Court decision, turns out the presidential immunity does extend into the Manhattan case, because unfortunately they were using stuff that they weren't supposed to be using while Trump was in office. His tweets, and people in the White House came to testify, I guess against their will. Turns out that that testimony and the mean tweets were not allowable. So whatever is official acts, if these things were wiped out, then you got a problem. Whether they're going to have to do the case all over again or set aside the verdict, we don't know. So both Alvin Bragg and Judge Juan Marchez, whatever the fungu's name is. Now they're both up a creek without a paddle. Of course, to make matters worse, because of the Trump conviction, you have the majority leader in the House got so nervous that the Republicans were going to use the conviction of Trump as revenge. They told Kathy Hochul to cancel the congested pricing that was supposed to take place on June 30th. And she did. As you see now, since June 30th, instead of these things flashing the license plates, they're sitting there silent, not doing absolutely nothing, except racking up bills for the contractor. The contractor still got to be paid for putting all that hardware up there. And it's not doing anything, but they still got to get paid because it's not their fault that they put the stuff up there and then the state doesn't okay it. So, right now, folks are angry because of Hochul deciding to cancel the congested pricing. That means the second Avenue subway is delayed. That means the Interborough Express is delayed. All these projects that are supposed to be done with New York City Transit and the commuter lines now all delayed. And I found out that some projects for New Jersey Transit was going to be included because people from New Jersey was going to get hit with this too. Unfortunately, that's delayed too. I think something called the Scissor Bridge was supposed to be replaced with money from the congested pricing. But, you know, the fact was I think they should have delayed that Trump case, but they didn't want to. Now they got to go through the process like everybody else that did a Trump case. But in the meanwhile, the crime problem still continues in New York City. And he's not really addressing it. I mean, like several weeks ago, they had that bust about 2 people involved in retail theft. And they were hit with 3 felonies. But in the meanwhile, the infrastructure of retail theft is still intact. None of those people have been taken into jail. So you might have the people who hold the boxes in the warehouses and businesses, but if you don't have the people who's responsible for the actual theft, it doesn't do any good because they're still going to be doing it. It's a business for them now to be stealing, ripping off from other businesses, venting it off to somebody else, get paid, go back and do the same thing over again. Like I said, the crime problem in New York City is getting worse and worse and worse. And how long is the people in New York going to continue with these ridiculous DAs and not doing their job? How long? That's the question. Well, this is Alvin saying so long for now. Don't forget your style.